love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Rich man, handsome like Harry. Alatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Harry was a charmer, no one believed he could harm her. Oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Alatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Alatina, 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 oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Someone to love her. Alatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. News came first, they call her a liar. She have no sound, she mouth full of wire. Alatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Alatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Alatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. The church where she got married. Agatina, oh, who you have there breaking down the door. Tina should have outlived us. Now we pray that she will forgive us.
NETT Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Yeah, well, let's make sure we do just that. Let's make sure we start your day right. 7 minutes it is past the hour of 6 o'clock. Good morning to you, everybody. Trinidad and Tobago, good morning. Neighbors in the Caribbean, good day to you. All of our friends and family who are streaming all around the globe. Good day to you. And of course, thank you so much for being with us here on your TT Radio. It is NETT Radio. We are the heartbeat of the Caribbean. And yes, we are taking you above and beyond excellence. Happy to be in this space with you as always. So let me say much thanks to the Heavenly Father bringing us together for another day. All that we do, dear God, everything, let it be a blessing unto you. Yeah, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Yeah, the time, the weeks, the days are going by so quickly. Anyhow, I'm your through Sir Charles. Happy am I to be in the space with you as always. Thank you very much for showing up, everybody. My Anthem crew, hey, good morning to you people. As we welcome you to another edition of The Breakfast Show.
Get up, it's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here, we bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Okay, let me just make sure I forgot that. Right. Good morning, everybody. And of course, welcome to the breakfast show on is Tuesday morning. We're looking good and we are feeling better. Thanks so much to be in here with us and making us your choice each and every day. Good morning to my co-host, Richard, who I'm sure will join us in between this hour in a little bit. And of course, Wendell, who is already here. Wendell, how are you doing? You got flat out?
Actually, no, let me say good morning. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers. Actually, I was in Port of Spain. I was in St. James. I was cutting grass actually yesterday and I had to stop. Well, I finished in time before the heavens opened. And I couldn't leave St. James for a little while because of the rain. And eventually I say, you know something? When I looked in Arima, I saw Arima was hot sun. I say, you know something? Let me go where I live in. And I ran through the rain and got to my vehicle and left St. James. But I was as I'm driving through Mokorapa Road now, that area that always floods at the base of Ethel Street there. Water like crazy. Well, you know me, I going through it. So I went through that bit of water, and then when I got to the next bit of water I experienced was on Area Peter Avenue by where always floods to, by where the old ice factory was there, by La Perouse Cemetery. They always flood, and I experienced a lot of water there again. And then the other place I experienced water was on Wrightson Road at the base where always flood again too by fire services there on that side. And I headed out of town. I say, you see me, wherever, it was plenty traffic here. I say, I am getting out of town. Arima had no rain. Arima had absolutely not a drop of rain yesterday.
Yeah, because even like where I'm at in the Tunapuna area, we didn't really have any set of rain, a little drizzle kind of thing, but I had no idea. So when I start to see all of these pictures and videos circulating, I'm saying, but it's Trinidad, where that happening? Where that happening? Down in the West. Wow.
Yeah. It happened in the West because I saw it happening because, as I say, I was in an area that when I looked up, I saw the sky is just black. I said, "This is not good, no." I say, "Anyway, let me finish doing what I'm doing," and I thankfully I was able to finish. And then as I say, I decided I leaving through the rain because it would have only gotten worse, and it
Right.
did.
And it did.
Apparently, West was terrible yesterday.
Yeah. I
You
have
know?
a couple shots of it. Let me just show people what we're talking about in
Mm.
case you missed it, people. Around Port of Spain.
Causes that flood down on Muckrapo Road. That comes from up Bones Road, passes through Panka Street, so it affects St. James Secondary and Sixth Form Polytechnic almost on a regular basis whenever that river gets that high, because it's a very narrow river running through St. James,
Mhm.
and St. James Secondary has suffered because of it. Polytechnic, Sixth Form Government School has suffered because of it, and some people living in that close area has suffered because of it. You know?
Yeah.
It was that bad yesterday. And as I pointed out, they have not been doing a very good job cleaning those areas. Those areas haven't been cleaned for a while. I remember sending pictures of that river by Fatima College. I don't know if down by Fatima got affected as badly as well. That river that tree is growing in that river. It's the part by Fatima. The part that runs alongside Fatima there and one Woodbrook Place. You know?
Mm-hmm.
The other side, I saw they did some banking of the stuff. But the side by Fatima has been terrible for a long while, and I've been pointing it out and to no avail. So I hope all went well down there. But in the east, not a drop of rain.
Yeah. People in the east, and I'm not too sure what happened in central and south either. If anything happened on their side, but definitely down in the west. Ooh,
Yeah, the West get it. The West get it.
yeah.
You know, which is not unusual. Sometimes we get those kind of isolated showers because it was thunder showers because thunder was rolling, you know.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Because and some days it's in the reverse, you know.
Yeah.
Because like Saturday when we were on the cruise and down in the west started to get some rain and stuff and thing. And I said watching the weather because then it started coming up in the east and the east had a red. I was surprised that throughout the night it did not rain while we were outside there.
Yeah.
Because
I was happy. I
all
was
of-
worried about that, you know.
I was very worried about it, you know, and but had no rain. And but when I came back out and then I'm heading back east and I'm seeing the whole place wet.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I say, but wait, wait.
Yeah, the rain held up just good for us to do that cruise. And then it started to fall after.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. But I hope everybody all's well, that there were no incident. I guess people's cars got flooded out because I think I saw somebody posted an area. Sackville Street is an area. I don't know why people is even parked. When you see rain, move your car.
Yeah, I mean, you must know. And I saw one of those little note, you know, I mean, that water can literally pick up that car and move it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and I
people
don't know
still-
why it is that people park in that area. And even if you park, once you see rain, get down quick.
Go and move your car. Yes, go and move your car. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know?
It reaches a point where you can't go and drive it out after a certain time. And then,
No.
you can't even get to the car, you know. Or you had to walk through all that water and all kind of things. So let go.
And car get flooded out, you know? Now is not a good time to be parking anywhere that you know will flood. And Sackville Street is one that
And
floods all the time.
Sackville Street is definitely a place that is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway. But all's well that ends well. Let me wish some people some happy birthdays. I have some birthdays today. Raul Bermudez. You all know him as the breadfruit man. That's the man he's actually give away breadfruit trees, eh? Those miniature breadfruit trees. Raul, morning and happy birthday. Last time I saw you was on Mokorapo Road sometime. Salvatore Trancoso. I know that's not his real name, but he listens to us. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Dabadi Pentecostal Church. Happy birthday, Trancoso. Gia Brathwaite, sorry, Rodasha David, and my very good friend who listens to us every single morning on the breakfast show, and he sends greetings. I haven't seen his greeting as yet. Wayne Ramsey out there in Fort Lauderdale. He is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Wayne. I hope you get... Oh, yes, he has been. He is on the chat already. So good morning and happy birthday, Wayne Ramsey, my very good friend and schoolmate out there in Fort Lauderdale. All right? Those are the birthdays I have today.
Okay. What's the date today? Today's the 18th?
18th of August, 2026.
Just now, I'm going to check this. I think I have a couple birthdays here in August. Right. Okay. Right. So today, the 18th, is my grandson, my second grandson, right? Jason. His birthday is today. And his elder brother his birthday will be on Thursday. The both of them born this month. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Jason, have a great day today. Oh, boy, she's a handful.
Are they all?
No, they are not all. But he's a riot. He's all right, but he's a loving child, you know. Whenever he sees me, he say, "Papa, when I'm coming by here, I want to do this, I want to do that." Oh my word, yeah. But he's a nice. Yeah. So
happy. To anybody else celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday, happy birthday. All right.
All right, well, we're going into good news and then we come back and greet you folks on the stream.
America wants Trinidad's vanadium, not just its steel. 10 years ago, ArcelorMittal walked out and left 644 people jobless. Now, a US firm is pumping up to $750 million into that same plant. Locally, they call it Ibis Steel Company. The US Deputy Secretary of State flew down himself, cut the ribbon and called it Lazarus rising from the dead. But hold on, ArcelorMittal didn't close because our workers couldn't cut it. It closed because plain steel can't turn a profit in a world that's drowning with cheap Chinese steel. And the math never changed, so why come back now? One reason, vanadium. Strategic metal for aerospace, defense and batteries, where China and Russia controls the lion's share. Washington wants a supply line that doesn't flow through Beijing. Point Lisas, own port, own power. It's the perfect base. We're not being rescued, we're being positioned. If it delivers real jobs and real US dollars, that's a genuine win. Steelworkers Union, who is the main stakeholder, says that it's in the dark. If managed properly, this could be a genuine win for the economy and country of Trinidad and Tobago.
Vanadium. What is that?
I'm not too sure. Maybe
it reminds me of the movie Black Panther. What was the thing that they were using in Black Panther?
I can't remember.
You remember it's something, is a name close to that, you know? Somebody send it for us fast. What was the name of the substance they were using? They wanted that part of that Black Panther movie, in Black Panther movie. Is something, it ends with Arium too, eh? I could tell you that. Hold on. Somebody go send it to me. Come on, man. Vibranium, yes. Thanks, Ron DeSantis Jr. That was the name of it in Black Panther, Vibranium. So now we get in vanadium, eh?
Yeah.
Mm.
They said that vanadium is a special metallic element, chemical
Mm-hmm.
V atomic number 23. It's
Mm-hmm.
valued mainly because adding small amounts of vanadium can make steel stronger, harder, and more resistant
Mm-hmm.
to wear and corrosion. It's used in things such as high strength steel and construction materials, tools and automotive components, aerospace applications, vanadium redox flow batteries, which are used for large scale energy storage. So, yeah, if we have that,
Well,
if we,
it's amazing how a movie could have predicted this type of thing,
Mhm.
in a kind of way. Because vibranium at the point in time, I don't know if it was an actual product.
So it
You
was
understand?
it's the same thing in the movie?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the
vanadium,
movie,
okay, right.
vibranium was being used for building all manner of things. If you remember, in that Black Panther movie. You understand? And now we're hearing about vanadium. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But as I said, anything that is rare metals and things that are like that,
Mm.
of course,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna find the US holding on to you for it. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vibranium was the power, was the protective source at in that part of, oh God, what was the place called in Black Panther? I don't know why I'm not remembering it so much today. But that is what gave them their power.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Well, interesting. But as you said, the important thing is this: is if we were to really get those things and the windfalls that are expected from it, from this far, I am already hoping, and I say
And
hoping that our leaders who are in charge will be more responsible with any sort of windfall that is coming Trinidad and Tobago way, because just like windfalls in the past, let us not find ourselves wasting, so that we don't have to be back here in the next 10 or 15 years after it's gone. I mean, it's a big wish, but
mm-hmm.
trust me,
Mm.
but we had to put it in their mind and let them know that we want then, I think each and every one of us, regardless of where your political affiliation is, because that is one of the things that divides us. We have to become watchdogs for Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, we have been, and that's why
Yeah.
we elect governments and vote out. We elect governments and vote out governments. You understand? At the end of the day, if they're not satisfied with what you're doing, out you go.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so let's greet the folks in the chat.
Just before you go, let me just send out some happy birthday greetings. Let me say good morning to Debbie out there in Mover, and Debbie's granddaughter, Naraya. Naraya is celebrating her second birthday today. So, Naraya, we want to wish you a happy birthday. And of course, Granny is sending you much, much love today. Yeah.
All right. Debbie and Mova. I think I know who that is. Debbie Graves, right?
Modest.
That Modest. Oh, okay. That's our next Debbie then.
Yeah. We have 3 or 4 Debbies,
All right, because I always heard the description Debbie and Mova as Deborah Graves. Morning, Deborah Graves. I don't know if you still listen to us. I haven't gotten a message from you for a long time.
Yeah, I've heard from her for a little bit, but
Yeah. All right, so let's start with Eunice Dublin. Came back up at the top at midnight. Good morning, Kenny in Harlem, Odell Guy from Sangre Grande, Margaret Thomas, Robert Allen, Sis Super, Manuela Peters, Trinman, Apollonus, Pamela O'Connor, Marcia Rock, Robert Taylor, Diane, Sherma Paul, Doreen Pierre, Hillary Benjamin, that is, Marlon Motley, Boy Bedesi, Debbie Modest, Arlene Lewis, Empress Reyes Lal, Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona, Wayne Ramsey, the birthday boy, is on bright and early this morning, Carla Hercules, Ian Stewart, Joyce Philip, Felix Kazo, Garvin Frank, Melissa in Sharfley, Suzanne Jessup, and that's Suzanne Suzette, Corrine, Mrs. Gemma, Maria S. and Maria H. Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Anne Noel, Alistair Hart, South was overcast but no rain. Mrs. R. Gerald Hawaii, Alistair Hart is saying happy birthday to all again. Empress is saying every child has their own personality for sure. Julia Samantha, Bernadette and Alicia Yates, Lincoln Foxtrot, that's Lincoln, Ron DeSantis Jr., Avanel, Amy, I guess is Amy, Sadia Andrews, Wendell, I saw a report about unclassified deaths not being labeled as murder. The figure is up to 500. Okay, I didn't see that. You could feel free to share it with us. Lincoln saying movies always does and predict the future. And Claire Lendor Rollins, Dean Allen, Vibranium is the Black Panther movie. Wakanda is the name of the place I was looking for. Thanks for all who sent it. Jason Samuel. Dean Allen is saying it's rare metals times that the new mining models for tech industries. Rena Jennings says Alice Hart, the murder figure, is deflated. Caribbean Girl, Burning Zana, or the Golden City. What is that? Florence Bazi, morning, guys, and Charters Wendell. Today is my newest grandson's Liam Traore Vincent, his second birthday. He is an awesome little prince and blessings to us. So happy birthday to Liam from your granny Florence and of course from us on the breakfast show. Rena Jedin says 150 ampere workers will soon be on the breadline as of September 30th. Trini gets fit, morning, guys. Terrence Roach. Wendell, didn't you know Watson Duke himself from Wakanda? He was... Alicia and Empule Edwards, happy birthday to Daryl Collins. And Sankofa says, divine greetings to all. All right, those are all our greetings on the chat as Richard has joined us. So you'll see the greetings coming up on the screen.
Right. Didn't one of Watson's family was actually in a movie or something like that?
His cousin.
Yeah,
his cousin.
Yeah,
the
something
Duke.
like that. Yeah,
yeah. His cousin was the head of one of those tribes who came to the rescue of Wakanda.
It's everything that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so let me say good morning to Frank out there in Aruka, came in first this morning. Also to Miss St. Augustine, who was right on his heels this morning. Good morning to you, ma'am. Peter Wilson, water like that in St. James yesterday, Peter. Brenda, Brennan Durant, that's a new one here. All right. Also to Miss Ingrid out there in Arizona. Good day, Archbishop Ashton Clark in Canada. CJ out there in New York. Zena out there in Arima. I want to send out some get well greetings. So yeah, Zena is a little bit under the weather. Actually, she's plenty under the weather right now, but wish all the best. And yeah, this cold and everything that's going around. Zena, take care of yourself, okay? Looking forward to you being back to your old bubbly self soon enough. Edison Punette, that's another new one on the chat this morning. Good morning to you, Edison. Rena Budo Jennings down there in Pity Valley. Rena, how we got all our rain, girl? Mr. Billy, good morning to you, Powder Magazine. Debbie Modest and her granddaughter. Debbie too is under the weather. If you hear Debbie voice, she sent my voice note when that cold mashing up Debbie. Debbie had to get some pickaxe bush. Right? Pickaxe bush. Yeah. Dig it up. Colin and Kelly out there in Carolina. Good morning to you. And of course to all our friends and Gael TV. And of course our co-host Richard Rakubar is saying, hi, Richard.
Hi, good morning, guys. And of course, good morning to our listeners and viewers in the stream. And of course, if you are watching us or listening to us in whatever time zone, we appreciate you taking the time to interface with us. And good morning to my co-hosts, Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Morning, Richard. Just a few more greetings. Derek Duncan saying morning to his beautiful wife, Laverne, like he in some kind of trouble.
Why you feel every time somebody acknowledge the
Hello,
wife that kind of way they in trouble?
you making joke, yes? I know human beings, Anytime anybody making an effort to say greetings to the wife,
The
well,
beautiful
no,
wife.
you notice nobody don't do it to the husband, right? You notice it's always some man doing it to your wife.
Okay. All right.
All
Okay.
right, Caribbean Girl is saying, Wendell, you asked for the name of the city in the movie Black Panther. Okay. Oh, so that's the name of the city. What did you say? Let me go back to it. Burning Zana, or the Golden City. Okay, never knew that. Thanks for that, Caribbean Girl. Morning also to Angela Green, Red Fire, and that's it. Those are all the new greetings.
Okay. Richard, what the rain did with you yesterday?
There was no rain in Arima yesterday.
Oh, I thought you might have been down in the west and get caught up in the rain now.
No. Arima was blue sky, some cloud. That was it. So when I was speaking to somebody, it was Deborah, and Deborah was telling me it is poor. I said, what? She said black and rain. I said, what? I said, no, not on Arima. I said, Arima very.
That's what inspired me to run through the rain and drive through the flood and get home. When I looked up the road and I saw Rima, it's hot sun. I said, look, let me go and live in it.
Yeah, when I saw that rain in St. James and on the street, I said, what happened? Them had a real sweep out today.
Look at, and leaks that you thought you never had, just show up,
Yeah.
Boy, I'm guessing the next few, it's going to be like that for a few days weather. I know the weather pattern, it will be good in the morning. And then by mid-morning, it just changed.
Yeah, it switched.
And so I'm certain it's going to be probably like that again for the next few days.
Mm-hmm. All right, we are going for a break, people. It's now 26 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. Stay with us here on The Breakfast Show on NETT Radio. And when we come back, we'll see what's trending in the newspapers today.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right, we go straight into the newspapers today. The newspapers, the online edition, Express online edition. Anderson must step aside, and that's the Guyana's Guyana's opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed and his father Nazar are demanding that the CCJ's President Justice Winston Anderson step aside based on certain comments and decisions he would have made. Who called for our U.S. visas to be revoked? So asks former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who has appeared to suggest that the United States revoked the visas of both himself and former Prime Minister Stuart Young. I saw that trending yesterday. I didn't read the entire story, but it makes for a disturbing revelation that former prime ministers of Trinidad and Tobago U.S. visas may have been revoked, or certainly a call was made for their visas to be revoked. So the story is in today's Express, people. Gonzalez hits back at Thomas, and that's Felicia Thomas, who, of course, yesterday was leading a protest with WASA workers, and then the line minister showed up, and then that was the end of that. And so she called on former Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez to steer out WASA business. That's PSA calls off WASA protests after talks. Trinidad and Tobago is just a whole comedy show now. PCA refers 4 police misconduct cases, and that's head of PCA David West. They have referred 4 matters to the Office of the Commissioner of Police for consideration of disciplinary proceedings following their investigations.
Them just move real slow, boy.
Nothing gonna happen.
Them just move real slow.
Because they have to depend on the police when they're doing the investigation. And guess what? Police investigating police.
Yeah.
They'll investigate it. They'll put on a show of an arrest of this and that. And that's the end of that.
Yeah. We're still waiting on their report from the Joshua Shamaru situation too, you know.
I tell you, that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Police would make a show of it, and that's the end of that.
Is this all a part of the news? I'm just clarifying.
Yes.
Okay.
Drought alerts. Trinidad has been placed on a drought watch for September. Well, not after that rain yesterday. They get enough water in the drains and rivers to withstand that. Gonzalez and Thomas in war of words over WASA is just the same stories repeating. All right. So those are all trending stories. Oh no, let me go on. Rowley asks Kamala, how many citizens did you report to the U.S.? 613 former Caribbean workers to access cleared Pitimon lands. Canadian assaulted, robbed on at Chacon Street. Chacon Street is a scary street. Land data still missing after July 25th boat capsized. Woman held after cops struck with bottle. Those are all trending stories in today's Express Online, along with side commentary.
So the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. Amplia workers in limbo, 150 call center employees receive 30-day termination notices. CWU boss calls on unions to put political loyalties aside in workers' interest. COP not in breach of TTPS protocol, says government officials. PSA puts WASA protest on hold after Panarath intervenes. PM rejects unions call for input on New Point Lisa Steel Company. Digicel pouring. That's in business news. Heat not excessive for chickens, says climatologist. And 81% of NGL shareholders choose US dollar dividends. New Wave aims for easy street pothole solutions. Major investments require clear benefits, says Dukaran. That's a holdover from yesterday. After killing hundreds in boat strikes, US military expands campaign on land in Latin America. Exterminator caught on camera stealing cigarettes and punching. And in sports news, France's legacy of excellence will endure for generations. West Indies edge US thriller in over 60 World Cup. Rutherford and Mochi power Trident Sparse Kings to remain unbeaten. And TNT and Barbados make up majority of under-19 women selected for high performance camp. So that's it generally for the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. There was one that I was looking at. I'm not so sure why they would want to release 150 ampere workers. Why is this? It's just more and more people losing their jobs, and it seems as if the government is impervious to that, and it just comes across that way. I'm sorry, but that's how it comes across. And that new poll that you just gave me there, Wendell, about the Chief Justice saying that he wants to revert to in-house court hearings is the most ridiculous and backward step that I've heard in a long while. Because I don't know if the CJ understands. Are these people not on the ground? Are you not listening to what people say and how people interface with the judicial system? It's much less intimidating for people to have virtual hearings for especially magistrate court matters. I get it for jury hearings and criminal court matters, especially when there is a jury empaneled. Yes, naturally people have to be face to face. But to just make a blanket decision, if this is true, to resume all or majority of magistrate court matters and civil matters that don't need to be face to face back into the court system is as retrograde and as backward as you can get, especially in a 2026 when the world is moving forward in terms of virtual, hearings and virtual meetings. I find it very backward and quite embarrassing for the judicial system, which is already cluttered. And it makes it much easier for people who are interfacing with the system, not lawyers, the citizens who have to interface with it. It's much easier for them to do it virtually. And it's also much less intimidating and it's less costly. I don't know where Trinidad is going now in terms of some of the decisions you see coming out. If this is true, and let me preface all of this by saying if this is true.
Well, let me read the article so that because it will form the basis of our poll this morning, right? Courts, after years of virtual proceedings, most magistrates' courts and 15 criminal high courts are set to resume face-to-face hearings next month. Trinidad and Tobago's judiciary
Pause. So obviously not civil courts, which is fine, but magisterial matters. Come on. Criminal high court, I get it. I get it for criminal high court, for jury empaneling and all of that sort of thing. Even if it's and even if it's judge only trials, maybe that makes sense. But magistrate court matters, seriously?
All right. So let me read it. Let me finish read. Trinidad and Tobago's judiciary is moving to restore in-person court hearings on a wider scale, with most magistrate courts and 15 criminal high courts scheduled to return to physical proceedings from September 1st. The development marks a major shift from the virtual and hybrid arrangements that became commonplace during the COVID-19 pandemic, when in-person court appearances were restricted and many matters were heard remotely. In a letter dated August 13th, Chief Justice Ronnie Budusing informed the Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara that most magistrates' courts will return to in-person court hearings from September 1st. The Chief Justice says the exceptions will be the Port of Spain District Court and the Scarborough District Court. Those two jurisdictions are expected to return to in-person hearings in 2027. The judiciary is also restoring face-to-face proceedings in the criminal high courts. According to the letter, 15 criminal high courts will be functional for in-person hearings from September, comprising 11 courts in Port of Spain, 3 at the Princestown Judicial Center, and 1 in Tobago. The move is expected to bring increased activity back into court buildings as the judiciary continues efforts to restore normal operations following the prolonged reliance on virtual proceedings. Masters courts, however, will remain temporarily under a hybrid arrangement with specific administrative arrangements to be coordinated at the divisional level. Budusing said the TTPS was being informed so that appropriate arrangements could be made for the strength of police officers assigned to court locations. The return to physical hearings has been the subject of repeated calls from members of the legal profession and the judiciary. High Court Justice Frank C. Prasad has previously argued for a full return to in-person trials, citing the importance of open justice and the credibility of court proceedings. During the COVID-19 emergency, urgent matters were heard virtually, while jury trials were suspended and in-person appearances were suspended. Thousands of cases were dealt with through virtual hearings during that period. The latest move under Bodu Singh signals a step towards restoring physical access to the courts while maintaining hybrid arrangements in selected areas. There was no indication in the Chief Justice correspondence with regards to the transporting of remand inmates to and from various courthouses for in-person hearings.
I don't know. That to me, that's a silly decision. I get it for the High Court criminal. I have no issue with that because that's where you would have probably empaneling of juries and stuff like that. So I get it for that. But certainly for magistrate court matters, I find it's a silly decision, a silly and retrograde step. Because now you're going to have all of citizens, wherever a charge is or wherever an offense is committed or whatever kind of is where it was done. So you could be living in Princeton, but the matter is in Arima, or the Princeton, but the matter in Scarborough, or Port of Spain. So you start putting all of these now citizens having to find their way through all of the wonderful network of fantastic world-class roads we have to get to different courts across the country. Silly, stupid decision, in my opinion, to bring back magistrates courts physically.
Richard, add to that, now police officers have to be showing up in courts again. You understand?
Well, physically, but they were doing it virtually.
Physically, that was it.
Physically, yes. Physically.
Yeah, it's physically I'm talking about. They were missing virtual hearings, far less for physical hearings. A lot of virtual hearings were going on and on and on because police were not even logging on to the matters. You now asking them to come to the courts again.
And the additional.
But that's how it used to be anyway. But I'm just saying it made for better customer interfacing in terms of citizens across the country. Citizens were by far more comfortable with virtual hearings.
Yeah, I would imagine.
People who have had matters before the court, they were by far more comfortable because going into a court building in itself is intimidating. And then, of course, the inefficiencies of the court system, when your matters are being called and all of that, the long wait times that you have, sitting down, you might be there from 9, but your matter is not until 11 or 12 or whatever time,
And the thing about it also, Richard, sometimes you do all of that. You make all that journey. You spend all that time, and then you sit down in the court for 2 minutes until we postpone it until October.
Exactly. And you might have spent $40 to get to the court. You understand what I'm saying? So the magistrate court part of it is silly and retrograde. And I don't know what the Law Association's position is on it. And judges who objected to it, fine. I get it for criminal matters, which I started off by saying. I get it for criminal matters, where you have to empanel juries and stuff like that, and people need to be in court. Even though I think to a large degree, a lot of high court criminal matters were not being heard virtually. They were being heard face to face. But magisterial matters, I don't know what Kool-Aid sometimes people just be drinking,
But it fits in with exactly what I told someone the other day, and Lincoln has put it in the chat. Anything that happened under the last government will be reversed with this government. Everything.
Well, the judiciary is
$100 bill coming back too.
The judiciary is separate from the government.
I know, Richard.
So I can't link it to the governance, but what I will say is, and I can express my opinion, and I'll just say that I find that makes no sense for magisterial matters. And a law association, which takes forever to comment on any goddamn thing, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm feeling your frustration.
Only like it so, because citizens should have to me, I don't know how many lawyers will favor magisterial matters going back into in-person's court. I don't understand that.
Well, we are going to poll it. We are going to ask people what they think about it this morning, because if I said your frustration becoming like mine, be careful. You're starting the song like you're about to say, "Oh God, this place hopeless." I'm feeling hopeless. Yes.
No.
You're getting there.
I think the leadership of different institutions sometimes come into question, but leaders that will make decisions, I don't have to always agree with them, and I certainly don't agree with magisterial matters going back into face-to-face, as I said, for many, many multitude of reasons. But,
yeah,
citizens probably have no problem, and citizens like it, so I guess.
Maybe we'll find out today. All right. Yeah. So we are going forward. Did you know when we come back, people will open the lines to take a couple of your calls before the morning poll.
St. Joseph, not Port of Spain, was Trinidad's first capital, founded in 1592. It even survived being captured and burnt to the ground by Sir Walter Raleigh in 1595. Before Port of Spain became the capital, this was the original seat of Spanish power in Trinidad, the oldest town. In fact, the very first church stood right here where today's St. Joseph RC Church stands, same ground since 1592. In May 1592, Governor Antonio de Berrio sent Campmaster Domingo de Vera to found this town, San Jose de Oronia, what we now call St. Joseph. 3 years later, English explorer Sir Walter Raleigh sailed up the Caroni River searching for El Dorado. He captured Berrio. His men plundered the town and burnt it to the ground before Raleigh pushed on, searching for gold that was never there. Somehow St. Joseph rebuilt itself and remained the capital for over a century and a half, until the governor's actual house fell into such a state of disrepair that power shifted to Port of Spain. The Casa Real and Cabildo didn't survive, but a 19th century silver cross still watches over the town from the hillside above it. That's St. Joseph, Trinidad's forgotten first capital, still standing after everything. And finally, its story is being told. Journey 2.
Well, I don't want to steal Adonai line, but well, if you didn't know, now you know. I stole it.
I know you stole it.
Yeah, I stole it.
I don't think that's Adonai's line. I think Trinidadians say that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Seems like everybody all around the place does say that when they share information. But people, you can share your information now at 2811315 or 2995156. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. Richard, I agree with you. You're right. The judiciary is separate from the government. However, people who form the judiciary are human beings, and they have their political allegiance, just like everybody else. Right? When they showed their hand for me, is when, I don't remember the name, so forgive me, the judge or the magistrate, whoever it was, that said, when they took the matter to court with the Hadids, and the judge that said that found warrant in keeping the Hadids arrested, and I think he gave the advice, well, you have legal redress. If you're wrong, you have legal redress. And when the audio came out, I don't think anybody has asked the question yet. What did this judge hear that he felt comfortable to agree with keeping the Hadids incarcerated? Right? The male gentleman, I don't remember the name, so you would forgive me. The male gentleman was not in part of the conversation at all. He wasn't even on the phone. What did this judge hear that he felt this man still needed to be kept incarcerated? Why was he kept incarcerated? He wasn't involved in the phone conversation. That, to me, shows me that the judicial system is corrupted and it could be politically influenced.
Okay.
So why we like to keep your head in the sand and say, well, the judicial is separate from the governance, and it is all connected. Politicians controls everything.
But Lincoln, you're going on the assumption that it's only the recording that the judge had before him. You don't know what else
we know about. So
well, that's what you know about, and that's what we know about. But we don't know what else the judge had. Isn't that case still going on?
That is all that you do, Sir Charles. Speculate and just put reasonable doubt in the thing without any information. Right now, this is all the information we have, so that is what we have to go with.
When you don't have all the information either, Lincoln, you can't say that the judge.
And you don't know there is more information just as well. You don't know there's more information. Right now, I know.
In the realm of not knowing, I don't know, Sir Charles, to answer your question, I'm not so sure the matter is still in court because they weren't charged and they're not on any restrictions. So I'm not so sure what is before the court system. I think if anything is before the court system at all, it would be their applications against the state. But there was certainly no charge. So there's no criminal charge before the court.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
and we can only go what's in the public domain.
Followed up. A magistrate still found that this man needed to be kept in prison.
Yeah, point taken, Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, but we will not always agree with decisions that magistrates and judges and masters make. That's just human nature, because human beings are dispensing justice. Do human beings come with their own biases in terms of judgments made? Of course they do. And there is enough books written on judges and how you be objective in terms of dispensing the law and looking at the law. But do you have inherent biases as human beings? Of course you do. So that's why you have to be very deliberate in confining yourself to the law. Of criminal matters, the judge is the arbiter of the law, the jury is the arbiter of fact, what the facts are. But still, yes, it's human beings, so it's subject that mistakes will be made. But in terms of the broader discussion, and there are two discussions going on this morning. That 150 employees for Amplia and the casualness with which people losing their jobs that is happening under this administration. As you all know, I am not pro-UNC or pro-PNM. In fact, I think the both of them need to get out of politics and new people take over. But we are stuck with the two anchors around our necks as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago at this point. We are burdened with both of them. But you see the casualness of people's jobs and with which people's jobs are dismissed under this administration is very dark. It's very dark. And furthermore, this issue of the judiciary now, switching to that conversation of magistrates, courts, and going back in person, is retrograde because it's not customer friendly. And it's taking us back to the position of you forcing people to come to a space and spend money to come to a space. And sometimes, as Sir Charles said, for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes.
I'm tired. I told you all I'm tired. Because, Sir Charles, you said that you don't know what that judge had available. 3 other judges say, let them go, you know. I don't know if you know that.
And I still don't know what the judge at that point in time had.
But had nothing else, Sir Charles.
Yeah, but I am not going to join.
We could only go what we know.
Yeah, but and sometimes what we know is not all that there is, and sometimes to actually say the judiciary is compromised, or you know, if
well, that's his opinion. Sometimes you just gotta listen to people, you know, and let it and move on, you know.
Yeah.
And once you add to that, like what you did just now, that is what will cause the bacchanal little.
No, but sometimes
just listen to people and move on.
No, but sometimes people, Wendell, too, have and make assumptions, and we have a responsibility to maintain balance and not let people just say some things that sometimes they think that
But
they
I
are.
am so glad to hear you say that, Sir Giles, because many times, sometimes when you take calls, you just allow people to talk. And I'm like, why is he not saying something in the interview?
Stopping the call.
Why aren't you stopping them and saying, wait, hold up?
I did not stop Lincoln at all. Lincoln said all that he had to say.
No, I mean, when you have a show when you do it yourself, sometimes I find that you just allow people to talk, and I'm like, what? What are they saying? but I get your point, Sir Giles. Yes, we don't have the information. Lincoln may have his opinion, but we don't have the information to say things like that. But do people have inherent biases, which is the broader conversation? Yes. But does that mean that you should whittle away judicial independence? No. I think we have a strong judiciary that is very independent in terms of how they see stuff. Unlike Americans, the American judicial system sometimes confuses me with the amount of obvious agreed biasness by certain judges. In other words, if you appoint this judge, this is their bias. And so people should oppose this appointment. You understand? I find that amazing in their system, that judges have such obvious biases that you are knowing that they are going to judge certain decisions in a particular lens, rather than coming as a blank slate and looking at matters on the basis of the law and the legislation and precedent, which is how we have been schooled. So I always find the American system very, very strange. But in terms of whether there is political influence in terms of judiciary, I can't say that there is. I can say that people, and I may disagree with certain things, like how I disagree with the interfacing with the magistrate's court. And do I agree that the Law Association is slow to talk? Absolutely. And they pick and choose what they talk about. And it's because they play this step on too many toes, because even in the legal system, you have, of course, divisions along political lines. And the Law Association, of course, is sensitive to that. So they tiptoe through the tulips until they do nothing but fall asleep in the tulips. That's what has happened. So they probably will have no opinion on this. Or if they have, it will come out. It's September 1st this year, right? So if the Law Association have an opinion, probably when then it might come out in October.
I tell you, everything that happened within the last 9.5 years will be reversed. Everything. Watch and see. Anyway, our poll is up, people. Do you agree with the decision to return to in-court hearings as proposed by the Chief Justice? If you're voting yes, you're voting 1. If you're voting no, you're voting 2. All right? Do you agree with the decision to return to in-court hearings as proposed by the Chief Justice? We would have read the article, so you would know that that it's for particular courts and for particular situations. So please don't tell us the poll vague, right? Based on that article, do you agree with that decision? Yes or no? All right? Go ahead.
Okay, so we're going for the news, and we'll tell you how you voted when we come back.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. A war of words has erupted between Public Services Association President Felicia Thomas and opposition MP and former Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez over the Water and Sewerage Authority. Speaking after a meeting with Public Utilities Minister Barry Patterath on Monday, Thomas told Gonzalez to stay out of WASA's affairs. She accused him of trying to destroy the authority while he was in office and said he has no moral authority to speak on WASA. Gonzalez hit back in a video, saying he has a responsibility as an elected MP to hold the government accountable. He distended his record as a former minister and said he would continue speaking out against what he described as wrongdoing. The exchange comes as WASA workers continue industrial action over outstanding wage negotiations. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is calling on Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessere to disclose how many Trinidad and Tobago citizens her government has reported to United States authorities with recommendations that their U.S. visas be revoked. In a Facebook post, Rowley questioned recent statements by members of the UNC administration about citizens potentially losing their visas. He also questioned whether Persad-Bissessere would disclose whether he or former Prime Minister Stuart Young committed any of the offenses cited by the U.S. Department of State as grounds for visa revocation. Rowley further asked about a person he described as a close friend of the Prime Minister, whose U.S. visa he claims was cancelled before the current government took office. He is also demanding that the government state how many other citizens it has reported to U.S. authorities for possible visa cancellation. About 613 former Caroni workers are expected to gain access to residential plots at Petit Morne 2 and 3 near St. Madeleine. The estate management business development company says about 273 acres are being cleared and developed, with approximately 1,176 residential lots expected. EMBD says about 600 former workers have already received allocation letters and tickets for lots at the sites. The company also says the developments are not earmarked for any of the proposed artificial intelligence data centers, addressing concerns raised by nearby residents. The land distribution forms part of the government's program to fulfill commitments to former Caroni workers who were displaced when the sugar company closed in 2003. More than 9,000 workers were affected by the closure. Relatives of 28-year-old Nigel Poogie Muhammad are demanding justice after he and another man were shot dead during a pre-dawn police operation in La Romaine Sunday. Police say officers entered a house during an intelligence-led operation and were fired upon, prompting them to return fire. 2 firearms and ammunition were reportedly recovered. However, Muhammad's relatives and residents are disputing the police account and are calling for an independent investigation. His sister Melissa described the incident as an unjust police killing, while his brother Aaron questioned whether gunshot residue testing was conducted. Residents say they heard several bursts of gunfire shortly after 5 a.m. The family says Muhammad had been working in construction and was trying to provide for his young son. They are demanding answers about what happened inside the house and the circumstances surrounding the 2 deaths. A 37-year-old woman has reported losing $7,000 in an alleged investment scam involving a TikTok content creator. The woman from Duncan Street, East Port of Spain, told police she contacted the suspect after seeing videos advertising an investment opportunity in which money given to him would allegedly be doubled. Police say the woman handed over a total of $7,000 between November 6 last year and January 7 this year. She became concerned after receiving no further communication from the suspect and said her calls went unanswered. The woman told police she has received neither a refund nor any further contact. She later saw a TikTok video showing the suspect being arrested by Arima police over similar allegations, prompting her to make a report at the Besson Street police station. Finally, the United States is seeking to expand its military campaign against drug trafficking from the sea to land, with proposed joint operations alongside forces in Latin America. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says Colombia, Honduras, and Ecuador have agreed to allow U.S. forces to conduct joint operations against criminal groups on their territory. Guatemala, however, denies reaching such an agreement. The U.S. has already carried out dozens of strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing more than 200 people. Critics warn that expanding the campaign to land could increase civilian casualties and create tensions over national sovereignty. The proposed operations mark a significant expansion of U.S. military involvement in the region's fight against organized crime. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better.
Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show. You're locked into NETT Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Well, everybody, and of course, good morning to you once again. Welcome to NETT Radio. Welcome to the second hour of the breakfast show. Wendell, Stephen, Richard Ragobar Singh, and of course, your story, Sir Charles. We keep your company Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. So 9 p.m. there. Yeah. And we're happy to do that too. So thank you so much for tuning in, turning on, logging on. However you get here, thank you for getting here. Yeah. Of course, I want to say good morning to our Anthem crew and all the people that came in along the way. And of course, good morning to the folks on Guile Caribbean TV taking us to the rest of the world. I thank you so much, people. Just some information for you, just to let you know that coming up at 11 o'clock today, that will be your next engagement on the platforms. Denise Deming, and of course, it is Common Ground, and of course, speaking with one of our super entertainers today, yeah? So she will be linking up today on the program with Errol Fabian. So you get to hear his backstory. So look out for that. That's coming up at 11 o'clock today. Also, a little later on this evening at 6 o'clock, look out for Dr. David Mohammed with the Black Agenda, all right? Always something interested with David Mohammed. Yeah. David, good morning to you. And of course, belated birthday greetings to you too. So people, remember, when you don't see us on the feeds, you can come across our social media pages. And of course, you can listen to us on our website and all our streaming platforms at netradiott.com. That's our website, netradiott.com. And our platforms and streaming platforms at NETT Radio Trinidad. So that way you get us on TuneIn, Simple Radio, Online Radio Box, MyTuner, Radio Garden, any one of those streaming platforms. You can get us at NETT Radio Trinidad, and our social media pages, which are Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and also at our WhatsApp channel at NETT Radio Trinidad, right? So go across, like, subscribe, and follow all of the channels, please, especially that TikTok channel. I want you to follow that from my heart right now. If you have not visited it as yet, go and visit TikTok for me, please. All right, so morning poll, we're asking you, do you agree with the decision to return in court hearings as proposed by the Chief Justice? If you're in favor of that, you're saying yes, you're voting 1. If you think, well, nah, not in favor of that, well, then you're voting 2, all right? And when we come back, we will tell you how you vote and take a couple of your calls on it also.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now, what are you waiting for?
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
S&H Rum Box, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box, drinking out of the box.
Join me, Brother David Mohammed, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Okay, so we are back. Welcome back to the second hour of the breakfast show, and what is shaping up so far to be a beautiful morning. I hope it holds. And as Wendell says, normally around lunchtime, mid morning, you find the thing that start to change. Interesting enough, though, that Wasa is saying that hey, all they need to conserve water, all that water that coming down and flooding, and I don't know, like Wasa don't do such a good job of collecting the water, but it is what.
Turbidity.
Yeah.
That's what you'll get now. Turbidity.
Yeah, so they say that even though we're getting some rain, it's apparently like some of the dams are running below certain levels, so you have to conserve your water usage, right? To make sure you have potable water, so you don't just waste. Be it with a friend. I can help you to save some water, right? All right. Anyhow, we are back on the inside, and we
Yeah, our poll is still running, people. Of course, it was a decision announced by the Chief Justice that as of September 1st, certain magistrate courts will go back to in-person hearings. As well, Richard had his say on it, and I mean, for someone like me who also interacted with the courts a bit, I think it's also a retrograde step. I also think because it's going to have people traversing the places again. Police officers will have to be there. I mean, all manner of things will have to be put in place in terms of interacting with people again. All that scanning to get in a court, and I mean, we have had so much drama surrounding courthouses in this place. You know what I mean? Including people being shot as they come out of a court. I mean, just leave people. I mean, for people with certain sensitive matters, they prefer the online thing, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why we're going back there.
But people, what do you say? So we're taking your calls 281-1315-299-5156. If you have your view on the morning poll, this is where you get your say on the morning poll. So we have like 6 minutes before so we can take your call. So call us now on the poll if you have a view that you would like to share on the poll, and then of course we will treat it all the other matters after the poll. All right, caller, good morning.
Hey, morning to Charles and Richard.
Morning.
I remember when they had those in-court hearing, it used to be happening to the traffic and people going to work in Portsmouth. When they were bringing large rallies, they blocked the juke street around the block. People going inconvenience, they can't pass on the road, they can't go up the street, they can't go on that street. When they say they want to go back in time without nonsense, that's what they want to do. Oh, please give me a break, man. That is not right.
Yeah.
That's right. At all, like a big inconvenience because we're looking at people coming back to court, yes, but there's an inconvenience when we bring in certain categories of convicts and trial in town. I don't mess with that in me. You know what I'm saying? When there's like a mess, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert. If somebody could show me the positive aspect of it, then fine. Maybe we could rethink, what we think. Richard would have, as an attorney, would have interacted with the court system for years and years and years at legal aid and so on. You know what I mean? So he would, and you would have heard his opinion. Why are we going back there? What's the reason? How is it impacting positively on what is happening now? If magistrates were able to deal with more matters during the virtual thing, you understand? Because it's pretty easy to sit of course, behind your computer. And if the matter is ready to proceed, right, you proceed with it then and there. Or if it's not ready, fine. It doesn't inconvenience anyone because the person would not have had to go anywhere to interact for, as you pointed out, Sir Charles, 2 minutes to be told, all right, we have to put this matter off to so and so date, and you, why are you going back there? What's the reason? If you could point out a positive reason as to why we have to go back there, then fine. Is it the media people who can't get access to these matters anymore because they're not on? But I think anybody could get the link and go on the platform. I don't think they stop you from going on those platforms, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most administrators would let someone on the platform, but of course you're not interacting. You keep your camera and your microphone off. But once you get a link as a media person, I think you can go on. I don't know. I stand corrected. What is the procedure for people in the media to follow some of these matters?
Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Brother Center, Norfolk, Virginia. Hey, I think you're all missing something here. You realize that when they bring this, they're replacing the virtual court appearances, what it means, besides the logistical nightmare for the police service and then less officers being out on the beat or whatever, you realize what's going on? There are certain interests who involved in the transportation of prisoners, right? That's still going on, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's just, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that that certain sector involved in the transportation of prisoners and stuff like that. Hey, since virtual, court matters was the norm, so to speak, until now, that I think it's tied into that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's a little stretch, but I hear you.
Yeah, and I would be surprised that sector is also one of those sectors who, maybe financiers for both parties, as a matter of fact, because there are people who cut checks for both sides. You know that, Wendell. Come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to touch on but look, you're talking about this topic. I'll call back a little bit because I think you all also missed something in relation to the visa situation
right.
into why the
call us back in a couple of minutes time with that. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. So the people who were trying to get us on the 299 number, the phone was going a little crazy. I'm trying to restart that phone right now. Would you believe the phone don't even want me to restart it? I'm trying to restart the phone. The phone wouldn't restart, but it's just moving from screen to screen. So those on the 299 number, I'm trying to restart it. So call us on the 281 number for now. I should go understand everybody. I saw your calls coming in, but the system just giving trouble on that line.
Joe said I miss CJ Archie. He was a visionary. Today is actually his birthday. Happy birthday, former Chief Justice Ivor Archie, if you're listening. Today is his birthday. All right? I think he's 66 years old today. Happy birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have some votes coming in. Sorry. And some comments.
Yeah. Which will be the results of that in a short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But why? What is the reason we're going back there? If somebody could tell us why we need to go back there, why we need to go back to in-person hearings,
yeah,
we can listen.
I was actually trying to see if I could pull up the article by Justice C. Prasad, which he talked about that a little while ago, but I can't seem to find it. But he gave some reasons as to why he felt that they should get back to it. But yeah.
Okay. But I wasn't aware. How long ago was that?
That was probably about a month or two.
Yeah,
Justice C. Prasad spoke out about that situation. All right, so. Yeah, but I'm trying to get it, and I'm not seeing it.
I would imagine that. I mean, while they haven't cleared up a backlog, but I'm wondering if how many matters were they able to deal with during that period of those virtual hearings? If it was able to clear up a lot of the backlog.
And those are statistics that we don't really have. They don't share those things with us. For example, if it was like HGC with 180 something thousand people waiting at homes, if they were able to clear up any, but they don't share that kind of information. Yeah, they don't share.
Like Cupid, you went down the same road that Ron went down just now. Maybe they see it as an opportunity to repay a financier for transportation of prisoners, which they had accused the 1% of being substantial benefits. But I don't know. It's I would hate to think it's that.
Yeah. Caller, good morning to you, caller. Shagwanas.
Yes,
morning.
If you can take down the radio, TV, or whatever you have in the background, would be good.
Yeah, we get enough feedback from what you're listening to.
Morning to you.
As you say, we already have all the data as to the effectiveness of the online hearings to the in-person hearing, right? But when you're watching it, you can see all the advantages of the on the online hearing. As somebody say, get in the court. If you reach and your matter call, and you're a minute late or 2 minutes late, then there's all kind of problems, right? But I feel all the benefits of the online hearing more outweigh the personal hearing. Except one of the things is it could lessen the prestige of the judicial officers. I mean, you don't have to bow and genuflect, right? You have to open your eyes all sit, right? The clothes you're wearing.
It's less formalities.
I just the scanning, searching, all kind of stuff and like that. I don't know if they find it reducing the prestige. But I the only disadvantage I see.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. You're brushing people's egos.
Egos, right? The other genuflect, the other bow or dip and thing, they present documents and okay. I don't know if that kind of ego thing is what
they're missing that. They're missing that.
Yes.
Stand up straight, young man. Put your shirt in your pants.
I'm working on the judicial thing, right? I heard Sir Charles he can come and say, no, we're going back to we're talking about the Hadid matter and so on, right? There are many matters for the court, and if you see the judge, when he put something in the public domain, we just have to base our opinion on the facts and things that is presented in the public domain. Right? It come like the Joshua Samaru case. That is what we see. Right? You can be waiting what happened before that is going to be basing the incident on what we see. If there's something else other than that, charge them for whatever it is, but we dealing with what is before us. And the same thing with the Hadid case. We dealing with what is in public domain or the facts that is before us. And if the judge and they have other information and things, so the court will charge people and then proceed. Do you think we are no involvement in that? Because if the Hadid and them were charged, right? Even if what was in the public domain we hear, and they were still charged, and we know, okay, they have more incriminating evidence or whatever. But it's not for us to speculate on that. We had to go by what we see in the public domain, and what we saw there didn't merit they're being detained, right? They're being charged. That's my take on it.
Yeah, thanks. And 3 appeal court judges thought so. The tribunal that was appointed also thought so, that they didn't need to be detained. So I didn't even understand that attempt at a countering what Lincoln said by Sir Charles. Yeah, just leave them thing alone. You just have to leave it.
Anyhow, people, the morning poll is up, and this is the results of the morning poll, Wendell, and we close it off, and then we will take all your calls and all the other things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, man. Of course, our poll this morning was, do you agree with the decision to return to in-court hearings as proposed by the Chief Justice? 10% of you said yes, 90% said no. 10% said yes, 90% said no. All right? And we still have votes coming in. Michael Robinson, wake up in Japan or what? Or, preparing for bed. No, you'll be preparing for bed. All right, good evening. So that's the results. Those are the results of our poll. And well, yeah, it fits in with a lot of what people think. I mean, what's the purpose of going back to in-person hearings? Give us a reason. Shagwana's raised a point that I really didn't think about. Is it that they're missing that kind of prestige? Because most lawyers and thing home now, they're in our short pants or the boxers, and they put the shirt on and they put what they call the thing around their neck. What is it called? The tie. Well, I'll use the word tie for now, but there's a name for it.
What is called that piece of garment?
Yeah, there's a name for it. There's a Lord knows a friend of mine had me hunting looking for one time. I can't remember the name of it, but is it that they sit at home in front of the laptop now doing that? Or if they are at the office, they don't need to rush down to the court. You know what I mean? Find a parking space. Have someone genuflect at them as Trinidad and Tobago, we are tiring. Every time you think we're moving forward, we're moving backward. Because trust me, the cut notes coming back before this 4 years done. Trust me. Remember I said that today, right? I said a lot so far that I've only seen coming through, right? Them cut notes coming back too. Watch and see.
All right, so people, the lines are open to you. You can give us a call at 281-131-529-9156.
Yeah, we're taking generic calls now. Let me find this article now on this passport thing, this visa thing. All right, let me find that article because I didn't read it in its entirety. It says former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has appeared to suggest that the United States revoked the visas of both himself and former Prime Minister Stuart Young as he challenged Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar to say which grounds for visa cancellation applied to them. However, in an immediate response to questions from the newspaper, the Prime Minister dismissed Rowley's allegation, saying, "I think the U.S. Department news release is self-explanatory." In a Facebook post yesterday, Rowley posed several questions to the Prime Minister, asking which offenses they were guilty of that resulted in the revocation of visas. Today, I want to ask Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar and all the others who made this call and even wrote the U.S. government calling for the visas of both Stuart Young and Rowley to be cancelled, which of these offenses were they guilty of? He also asked the Prime Minister to share information on the revocation of the visas of one of her close friends. Incidentally, is the Prime Minister prepared to share with the country which of these offenses her close friend and messenger violated, resulting in the cancellation of his visa well before she came into office? He further stated, also, is the Prime Minister prepared to tell the country, besides Rowley and Young, how many other citizens she and her government have reported to the U.S. government with a recommendation to have their visas cancelled? Rowley claimed that in recent times, the UNC leadership and others close to them have been warning and threatening the citizens about losing their U.S. visas. He further thanked the U.S. authorities for going public to inform the traumatized citizenry in this country about the conditions under which visas are revoked, as he made reference to an August 10th statement from the U.S. Department of State. The release stated that the State Department has revoked visas from criminals who pose a danger to American citizens, endorsed violence against Americans, arranged illegal birth tourism schemes, or engaged in fraud. It further listed about a dozen reasons for which visas were revoked. In his post, Rowley listed 6 of the reasons visas are revoked. 1. Violated the terms of their U.S. visa. 2. Committed crimes. 3. called for violence against U.S. citizens. 4, defrauded Americans. 5, abused the immigration system. And 6, endangered national security. Attempts to contact both Rowley and Young yesterday were unsuccessful. Apparently, the release stated that under President Trump, the United States Department of State has revoked more than 175,000 visas from foreign nationals who violated the terms of their visas, committed crimes, called for violence against U.S. citizens, defrauded Americans, or abused their immigration system. Most of these visas were revoked due to law enforcement encounters for a range of criminal activity, with assault, driving under the influence, theft, and drug crimes being the leading causes. A significant share of visas were revoked for reckless driving, sexual assault, child abuse, fraud and embezzlement, and other crimes, it stated. So that's just an idea of that article. So is it that Dr. Rowley and Mr. Young's visas were revoked? That's the question I guess people want to ask, you know?
I didn't get that impression when I saw the former Prime Minister's article on it. And I think there was a video too, wasn't there? I can't remember if there was a video. But when I read the article, Sydney, I wasn't clear that that's what happened. Well, what I was clear on was he had information that their names were proffered, but I don't know if maybe the U.S. Embassy contacted him as a former, head and said, XYZ. I don't know. But obviously he had some level of information. But it wasn't clear to me that his visa was actually revoked.
Well, he is saying, there's a question he asked. Is the Prime Minister prepared to tell the country, besides Rowley and Young, how many other citizens she and her government have reported? So you're right. That part almost indicates that there is a report that was made.
Yeah.
Right? But is it that they were in fact revoked?
Yeah. Because it may not have been revoked, but he may have been privy to the list. It got into his mailbox that he was reported, but the U.S. Embassy Sydney clarified and indicated that there was no what caused a revocation.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. I guess we had to do an airport watch now.
Airport watch.
Yeah, to see who going where. If
How would you know?
If they never go to the United States again for a while. Well, now we know.
I don't know. I mean, interestingly enough, about that I was by a travel agency sometime maybe a month or so ago, and I was asking them about travel patterns, and they were saying, a lot of people don't go to the States as much.
That's true.
That a lot of people, they're saying that there's actually a boost in travel to the Caribbean, a lot of the other Caribbean islands. There's a boost from Trinidad and Tobago residents going to those other islands. And Panama, I think it was also one. And of course, Europe. Some of them are going to Europe. He said, but there is actually, as a travel agency, they could actually see that there is less going to the United States.
I'm not surprised at that either. I'm not surprised at that either.
Of course, their data will be people who use travel agencies. A lot of people buy stuff online. But for the people who go through travel agencies, this was their data.
Okay. You see a lot of those airlines now using it like a taxi up and down the Caribbean. They're not just going to one place anymore. They're picking up passengers.
Doing stop-offs. They're doing stop-offs.
Yes. Yeah. So they mightn't fill the flight from Trinidad, but certainly if they drop off in Barbados or St. Vincent or one of those other islands, they'll get people. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is what I've noticed a lot now. Even with the European airlines, with KLM now, they're using a lot of, they're passing through those other Dutch countries, and they're packed.
Yeah. But I was surprised that people were still using travel agencies. So and I was asking about it, and they said no. So there's an uptick because people want to save the US.
Yes, because if you go online, you're actually using US if you're using a credit card.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go to travel agency because you could use your TT.
Yes. And save the US for when they actually get to the place.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. But that whole thing about so I mean, it's not clear to me that I think he just got information. To me, that's how I read it, that he got information of the reporting, but so that he knew there was an issue of them reporting too, but it's not that he was personally affected. That's how I read it. Because to me, if he was affected, he would come out and say that, because he's very vocal about stuff. He would say that clearly, and he didn't say that clearly, so I interpreted it that way.
Yeah.
So, what was the results of the poll, Wendell? I missed the actual results.
Well, it went totally in the favor of people saying no. 97%. I think it was 10%, 10 and 90. 10% said yes, go back to the courts. 90% said no.
Yeah, it's such a strange decision. And you brought up a valuable thing, Wendell, when you said that you know there are murders that have occurred outside courtrooms from magisterial matters and stuff like that. But beyond the inconvenience to citizens, I don't understand what is so difficult about Trinidad and Tobago becoming more and more citizen friendly. It almost seems that leaders in certain positions, and maybe it's an ego thing, that they feel I can make this decision and I'm going to make it. Because you can see a lot of ego and hubris in a lot of leaders now, right? You can see it. It's very clear. They're not hiding it. And it's astonishing. And I'm like, wow. And they make, coming back to the 150 ampere workers, it's like cavalier decisions about people's livelihoods. And people are unaffected by it. I don't know where empathy has gone. I don't know because these are Trinidad and Tobago citizens, and these are citizens in a small space. Small space. You're not in the United States where there are hundreds of millions of people. You just have 1.5 million people here max. And making decisions that affect people in such a cavalier manner, I find, and it comes across cavalier to me. And I just find it astonishing. Because I feel it for citizens. I am passionately Trinidadian and Tobagonian in terms of, and it upsets me when I see how people live and where people live and what citizens have to go through. And I don't know, like politicians are unaffected by that. A lot of politicians are just unaffected by that. It becomes, they see them as a they rather than an us. I don't know. It's weird.
And
similarly to the CJ and that decision, it's like you see them as a they and not part of us. So you see it as a decision, that I can make and that you are in authority to make, and part of it is hubris. And the us on the ground and the people, and these are all people who are people. Remember that people who are before the court system are innocent until proven guilty, but it becomes like, let me reverse this because I can.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. It's like humanity becomes more and more difficult as we grow technologically. It seems as if that whole issue of leadership and empathy and really studious assessment of stuff just goes out the window, and I just go with a feeling of what I feel to do. In contrast to me watching, it came up in my stream yesterday, and I was watching the opening of the Barack Obama Presidential Museum, that's what they call it, and Michelle Obama making the speech. And it was so impactful and full of empathy, and you could see the thousands of people that were present. Some were drying their eyes because so impacted by what Michelle Obama was saying about him, Barack Obama, and Barack Obama himself, shed a tear or two, and just about the decency of human beings. And it's like decency and empathy is a bad word now. And at some point, I know nothing is forever and the world continues to turn. But since when there are so many people that were so badly brought up by their parents, when did that happen? When,
Richard, my experiences,
did that happen? That so many people were badly brought up by their parents. And I will leave that there.
Yeah. Well, my experiences on the whole, but most of my recent experiences have taught me human beings are a special bunch of people, and they are capable of all manner of things. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it as broad as that. My recent experiences with human beings is that they are capable of all manner of things. That much I will say. I try my best in my own little space to be as kind and as, how I should put it, as accommodating as possible to people. But I realize that is hardly ever reciprocated now. And there are people out there who just bent on making life miserable for other people. I'm trying to be as broad as possible. Because if I start to talk, if I start to use certain words, people will say, oh, it had to be that person he's talking about. I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? But human beings are capable of all manner of things now. And nothing surprises me again. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. So I mean, we open the lines. I think Sir Charles. I think is PJ there.
Peter.
Peter, what call you? PJ? He laughing, yes.
Yeah, Peter. You merged CJ and Peter into one.
Yes. No, I merged RJ and Peter. I merged RJ and Peter into one.
Yeah, let's open up the lines. 2811315, 2811315. I'm not so sure if the 299-5156 is working, but certainly 2811315, 2811315. We're taking your calls.
Yeah.
We do have
of course.
Call already.
Yeah, we have a call already. Let's take it.
Good morning, caller.
Also, wait till you good sir. Nice. Oh, sorry. Hello. Oh, yeah. Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, caller. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, caller. We hearing you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Person Center again. Hey, if you can find the press conference done by the former, as the term I adopt from when they're comparing which prime minister you're talking about, former prime minister, the former prime minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, when he returned from the United States, either at the VIP lounge in the airport or at the diplomatic center, he did a press conference. And a statement was made that I think went over everybody's heads, out of the mouth of Keith Rowley himself, Dr. Keith Rowley. He said, and I don't care if I am able or if I can't return to the United States. You all remember that?
That was when he was stopped in Antigua or somewhere. Is that?
No. While as prime minister, one of his last trips he did overseas, he went to the United States. Some people say he went for medical treatment, whatever. That's besides the point. But he returned from the United States, and he said that I don't care if I am able to, or again, I'm paraphrasing, but he did say this, if I am able to, if I can return to the United States. He said that. And very, very few people picked up on that. So go ahead, take a look, right? And watch the video. And that's exactly what he said. There's more to it. And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I'm going to say. Okay?
All right.
I don't understand. Well, I really don't understand what you say. So I don't understand how that's relevant.
He was talking about relations with the United States and stuff like that in Trinidad and Tobago.
How is that relevant to what he's positing that the current administration has reported people? How is that relevant? Because that's before this administration took over. And that's what we're talking about. So how is that relevant?
She reported that? Come on, man. It's left. They can report whatever they want, right? He made this statement while as Prime Minister. She was in opposition. She was in no position to say anything. And even now...
That's why Richard asking you that.
How
That's
is
why
it
Richard asking you
relevant
that question.
to what he's saying now?
What is he saying now? No, he is saying now that she called out some names and it could have been him and Stuart Young. That, again, as far as I'm concerned, that's just distractions. There's bigger issues to be addressed. Which, you know,
All
you
right. I see your point. I see your point. You're saying that this predated the change of government, right?
Of course, yes.
All right.
He said it out of his own mouth. So how can she now influence whether they pull his visa and Stuart Young's visa? That's poppycock. That's ridiculous.
Okay, right? I see your point.
Long before they dream of being in power, the UNC, long before they even dreamt or thought they would have get back in office. So this is what I'm saying. All right, guys.
All right. The only thing you should have done is actually come with what he said. You should have do that research and come with exactly what he said and when he said it. But I understand your point now. All right, we still open the lines, 281-1315-299-5156. We are taking calls. Anything you want to talk about, you talk. We have an interview tomorrow. I know we have an interview lined up, and we probably have another one lined up on Thursday. All right? So, but I remember the incident with him being stopped in Antigua. Was it Antigua? You remember that one, Richard?
The red notice one?
Yes, when he was pulled aside and questioned. I remember that one. But yeah, I don't remember that one that Ron DeSantis.
I don't know that he was questioned as so much as informed.
Yeah, that there was a red notice out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, gentlemen, as it is almost 8 o'clock, how about we go for the news really quickly and then come back and take the calls after the break?
Yeah,
we don't pay attention to the top of the hour for news, really. You know, we don't really pay attention to that. Right?
Yesterday we went till about 20 past 8 interviewing somebody.
What?
No, 25 past.
25 past. You see what I mean?
5 past.
Yeah. But go ahead, Peter.
Yeah. If you want
to forge you charge, you're the boss, Peter. Peter, you're the boss. You go ahead.
If you want to forge a new part, unlike your dad and us, that's all.
You go ahead. You're the boss. Go ahead. You go and play the news.
You do your thing, brother.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. A war of words has erupted between Public Services Association President Felicia Thomas and opposition MP and former Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez over the Water and Sewerage Authority. Speaking after a meeting with Public Utilities Minister Barry Patterath on Monday, Thomas told Gonzalez to stay out of WASA's affairs. She accused him of trying to destroy the authority while he was in office and said he has no moral authority to speak on WASA. Gonzalez hit back in a video, saying he has a responsibility as an elected MP to hold the government accountable. He distended his record as a former minister and said he would continue speaking out against what he described as wrongdoing. The exchange comes as WASA workers continue industrial action over outstanding wage negotiations. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is calling on Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessere to disclose how many Trinidad and Tobago citizens her government has reported to United States authorities with recommendations that their U.S. visas be revoked. In a Facebook post, Rowley questioned recent statements by members of the UNC administration about citizens potentially losing their visas. He also questioned whether Persad-Bissessere would disclose whether he or former Prime Minister Stuart Young committed any of the offenses cited by the U.S. Department of State as grounds for visa revocation. Rowley further asked about a person he described as a close friend of the Prime Minister, whose U.S. visa he claims was cancelled before the current government took office. He is also demanding that the government state how many other citizens it has reported to U.S. authorities for possible visa cancellation. About 613 former Caroni workers are expected to gain access to residential plots at Petit Morne 2 and 3 near St. Madeleine. The estate management business development company says about 273 acres are being cleared and developed, with approximately 1,176 residential lots expected. EMBD says about 600 former workers have already received allocation letters and tickets for lots at the sites. The company also says the developments are not earmarked for any of the proposed artificial intelligence data centers, addressing concerns raised by nearby residents. The land distribution forms part of the government's program to fulfill commitments to former Caroni workers who were displaced when the sugar company closed in 2003. More than 9,000 workers were affected by the closure. Relatives of 28-year-old Nigel Poogie Muhammad are demanding justice after he and another man were shot dead during a pre-dawn police operation in La Romaine Sunday. Police say officers entered a house during an intelligence-led operation and were fired upon, prompting them to return fire. 2 firearms and ammunition were reportedly recovered. However, Muhammad's relatives and residents are disputing the police account and are calling for an independent investigation. His sister Melissa described the incident as an unjust police killing, while his brother Aaron questioned whether gunshot residue testing was conducted. Residents say they heard several bursts of gunfire shortly after 5 a.m. The family says Muhammad had been working in construction and was trying to provide for his young son. They are demanding answers about what happened inside the house and the circumstances surrounding the 2 deaths. A 37-year-old woman has reported losing $7,000 in an alleged investment scam involving a TikTok content creator. The woman from Duncan Street, East Port of Spain, told police she contacted the suspect after seeing videos advertising an investment opportunity in which money given to him would allegedly be doubled. Police say the woman handed over a total of $7,000 between November 6 last year and January 7 this year. She became concerned after receiving no further communication from the suspect and said her calls went unanswered. The woman told police she has received neither a refund nor any further contact. She later saw a TikTok video showing the suspect being arrested by Arima police over similar allegations, prompting her to make a report at the Besson Street police station. Finally, the United States is seeking to expand its military campaign against drug trafficking from the sea to land, with proposed joint operations alongside forces in Latin America. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says Colombia, Honduras, and Ecuador have agreed to allow U.S. forces to conduct joint operations against criminal groups on their territory. Guatemala, however, denies reaching such an agreement. The U.S. has already carried out dozens of strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing more than 200 people. Critics warn that expanding the campaign to land could increase civilian casualties and create tensions over national sovereignty. The proposed operations mark a significant expansion of U.S. military involvement in the region's fight against organized crime. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
S&H Rum Box, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box, drinking out of the box.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right, and we are back from the break. Before we continue, I just want to take the chance to say good morning to Wendell and Richard, and of course to you, Trinidad and Tobago, on this lovely Tuesday morning. As we take some time for Wendell and Richard to get back.
Oh, I'm here.
Richard, why you talk? I was keeping quiet deliberately. I wanted to hear what you was going to. Why you open your mouth?
I didn't realize.
You're just trying to get me to talk more.
Peter, man. Oh God, but it's nice having you here. Trust me.
Why you saying that? Why you saying it that way, Wendell? Like you're glad to be rid of Sir Charles?
Is that what you picked up? No. No, I know Sir Charles. I hear his voice too. Like since that boat ride, that staying out in that night, dude. That night, you ain't easy, you know. You're literally out on the ocean in the night dew for 3-4 hours. It's not easy taking that. But that's some nice, cool parts of that boat ride. Cool, nice breeze blowing. Feel good. Anyway, we could continue to take your calls unless Richard has something else he wants to say. You know, but
You're
this
something
is
like an old Wendell.
Huh?
You're something like an old grandparent there. Don't stay out in the dew, you know, you will get the cold.
No, it had some people stay downstairs, you know. They ain't come up here. Maybe they come up to say hi, but they...
And there's another one too. They say that, what? If you come from the hot and you open the fridge, just get piracy or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I hear that trippiness.
Yeah. Get piracy. And I'm like, what is piracy?
Yeah, don't open the fridge on your chest.
Yes.
Yeah. Old people is something else sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And shut up, listen to me now. Don't open the fridge on your chest. What? Don't step off your bed bare feet. They always have sandals by the side of the bed or some old piece of carpet. The further away I have mats away from me, the better. Mm.
But anyway, we can still take some calls, and that's all I want to hear Wendell talk all morning. So 281-1315, 281-1315. We're taking your calls. Of course, you have heard the conversation so far for the morning. We're discussing.
Yeah. Let's say Richard cut off for a sec, but we do have a caller on the line.
Let's take the call now.
Good morning, Peter.
Morning.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning. So, Richard, which is it? I heard him talking just now.
He might be hearing you.
Okay. Well, let me ask the question after, but not here. But let me ask the question so you can hear and tell me an answer. Do you think that, and Wendell too, do you think that this thing with the Commissioner of Police missing in action, do you think that is an issue? I just want to find out from, as an attorney, Richard, right? That is my question. The other thing is this.
I can answer that. I have an opinion on that. And I'm glad you reminded me that I needed to say something. Because Mr. Benjamin in his interview yesterday reminded us that this happened before. And I hear why. Maybe the issue of appointing a commissioner or an acting commissioner or a deputy commissioner needs to change. Because it requires, as Mr. Benjamin reminded us yesterday, for the Public Police Service Commission to make a recommendation to the president. The president then informs the parliament. I hope I'm getting this correct, eh? The parliament then sits, they have a sitting where the acting commissioner is appointed, and then of course, if the acting commissioner is a deputy, naturally you appoint a deputy, which is what happened last time, if you all remember. It went to parliament, Mr. Benjamin was appointed acting commissioner, and I think Kurt Simon or somebody named Simon was appointed to act as a deputy. But the parliament is not sitting right now, so what do we do? I mean, it's crazy. And that's the anomaly that Mr. Benjamin was pointing out yesterday. There's nothing he could do about it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So why didn't they change it? When Dr. Rowley spoke about it, instead of letting it go to Parliament, let it go to the Police Service Commission and let them do what they have to do. It wouldn't have all this tralala. But that was 2022. So during that time, this current government did not support it. So that is why it is in limbo. And that is how I see the issue as an issue, because nobody knows nothing what's going on. Nobody telling anybody. And I thought, as in the public service, you have to ask when you're going to leave, you have to get sanction, right? You have to get a sanction, especially those high profile positions. So that is why everybody has to be talking about it. They're not giving anybody details. But I don't want details of where you're going and what you're going to do. But they're not giving anybody anything to talk about. So there must be speculation. And with speculation, always brings an issue. So, that is something else, never a dull moment. Now, the next point. Yesterday I was reading the Facebook article Dr. Rowley had put out concerning the visa thing. I didn't get the impression that his visa was revoked. I got the impression that he probably has information that it was recommended by this current government for his visa to be revoked. Because if it were, he would have said it out loudly. So I am of the impression that it was not. Well, his and Stuart Young's. Right? So, but it was written in such a way. But Wendell, yesterday, I just going through Facebook and some man named, what was something Sting? He put up a post with Dr. Rowley's article, information article he wrote. It was crazy, It was crazy. Those UNC supporters were saying all manners of things on concerning that, which they didn't even have any information on. They don't know if it was yay or nay. And it was madness for them. I said, look at all things weird. And some of them said that it should have been done a long time ago. And Maduro signed thing. That's why they have him. The comment for him just now. Trinidad is a nice place, Richard. And Wendell, you can't live in another place, Wendell.
Social media is a curse. It could be a blessing, but it's a curse.
And you'll be bored. So stay right here in Trinidad and get tips and jokes and comedy. Right? That is my information for this morning. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Social media, as I said, is a blessing and is a curse at the same time. Yesterday, they started circulating a video, and that last comment on the chat, the reform or their form, I'm not sure how you, they reform Miss Titi. That is a classical example of that. A video started circulating again with Ian Allen going around by some prison officer house with using prisoners to work on the house. I said, but wait, that video, I know that video. I've seen that video before. And naturally, I checked, which apparently a lot of people are not doing. That video is from between 2011 and 2014. That's how long ago, more than 10 years old. That video is over 12 years old. And it's a simple way to check, you know. They actually called the name of the prisons commissioner in that video. Go and check when that person was prisons commissioner. That person was prisons commissioner between 2011 and 2014. That's all I do, you know. And then I replied to the person, but I know I saw the video already, but I didn't remember how long ago it was. And it is more than 12 years old. And people started circulating it again, like if it is something now happening. And that is what is going on a lot. Up to the other day, they tagged me in a video. And 30 people calling me, oh, I hear you. I said, but that was since they had the protests in town, however, donkey years ago. That people started to also recirculate as if it now happened. Riot in Port of Spain. So the social media could be a blessing and it could be a curse. But all you have to do is double check sometimes. You know? Anyway.
Indeed, all you need to just be informed. You know, if you're informed about something, you wouldn't really get caught by social media and stuff like that.
But could double check, because anybody could make a mistake and share a video that they think now happened there. But sometimes for us, so we have a responsibility to check. So if I check and I realize it's a whole video, I immediately delete it. You understand?
Yeah. But when they're coming back to that whole police service commission issue, and the appointment of a acting commissioner and the process that you articulated, part of the problem is that governments like to hold on to power, and they don't like to devolve power to institutions that are presumptively independent. So if you have a police service commission, and the police service commission has done its due process and selected a commissioner of police like any job scrutiny board, and said, okay, this is who we think should be the commissioner of police, why have to go to parliament? Why the prime minister have the power to veto it or not?
Yeah,
just let them appoint the commissioner, or if you want.
Passing by the prisons or what?
Yeah,
because that's where your phone cuts off, you know.
We do have another call on the line. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Peter, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell. Great show as usual, great programming. I just loving the topics. I voted number 2 on the vote this morning because I find that how it's just wasting time. You're going in court to do what? And then when they're done, they're going and say that how they're going to reschedule for another date. And that was going on previously before. Every time these prisoners and them have court date, when they reach, they schedule a different date. I said that ain't making sense. I just wasting time and money. Better they continue to do what they're doing inside. Wherever cell, however they do it in prison, they do a screen and they do a video call and do the case like that. You'll get more cases done that way. Then you have a chance.
But I don't.
From there to there. You understand?
Yeah.
A second thing too, Wendell. Yes, I was downstairs. I came upstairs yesterday, the scene. And I said, I don't know what you're making up upstairs. I mean, I know how to gravel and thing, but that boat was moving left, right? The breeze was blowing nice. I did I did went upstairs and I shake a leg a little upstairs, but my thing was downstairs. And I did the electric slide outside. The Congo line outside. It was nice. It was epic. You don't know. And
All right.
to me, with this whole thing with going on with the, as I say, with the court thing that they wanted to have in court. I mean, it had the good and bad in it, but I just find it could just continue how they was doing it right now, with them doing their courts inside prison and on the charade. Because everything you had to look for is money, costing, and all these kind of things. But anyway, gentlemen, great program as usual.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah. Yes, the reform, Miss TT Love. Yeah, that issue we want to also follow up on that, where they want prisoners now on hard labor to come out and do work into the work that CPEP was doing. I saw Mr. Anizet make a statement on it, so we will try to get him to that. And maybe that is what prompted that recirculation of that video again, where prisoners are to come out and do work in the public domain. It's possible that that's what prompted that video again, you know? You should be hearing you.
No, I was waiting. I was saying something, but I changed.
You had gotten cut off just now again, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
When I was talking about devolving power.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And our politicians, they always have all the best ideas in the world when they're not in power. And then when they get in power, oh God, I don't know, it's about zombie that'll sit down on their chest and make
it's
them.
Called absolute power. That's what it's called. Yeah. Absolute power. Because you realize now you're in charge. And all of them, if you're listening to these ministers, you're hearing them saying that. I ain't be in charge now. You were there for 9.5 years. We in charge. Hush your mouth.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's what I say. You see the hubris and everything. You see it.
And apparently everybody forgetting that the table's turning, because this table is going to turn. And what are you going to do? What are you going to say then? You understand? When you run afoul of so many people now, what you think going to happen when the tables turn? So we're going to continue this cycle forever?
Well, hopefully you need, ideally, let me say not hopefully, let me say ideally, you want governments or leadership that deals with the governance of the country and about improving and inspiring the citizens of the country and positioning Trinidad and Tobago to be the best country on planet Earth and lifting people who need to be lifted, and without any bias towards who voted for me and who didn't vote for me. That's what true leadership is. And true leadership is a rare thing. It's very rare. And it takes a certain level. It takes a certain level of, I suppose it takes a certain level of, as I said earlier, of how you were brought up to anchor yourself in terms of the humility that's still required, even though you have the power to understand what people are going through on the ground and be sensitive to it and not say anything that you feel you can say and be oblivious to how your decisions affect people. And that takes a certain kind of, parent. And that's why when I said it earlier, I meant it. Why is the world and why is Trinidad and Tobago so full of people who apparently were badly brought up by their parents? Because that's how it comes across.
I hear that, but I don't subscribe to that. You know that? Because there are a lot of people, Richard, who were not brought up by parents. You understand? And who don't have those issues. They lost parents for one reason, for some or the other. You know what I mean? And they were not brought up by parents. I mean, they were parented.
You were always brought up by somebody.
Well, that's where I was going. You were parented.
No, well, when I say parents, Wendell, I meant your social circle. And so parents is your ultimate social circle.
Mhm.
But if your social circle is not, I did not bring you up properly, well, it's reflected in terms of the decisions you make, in terms of leadership and decisions that you make as a human being as you move into adulthood. I mean, everybody has a personality, but the anchoring of your values is when you are young. And the values of empathy and caring for other people and stuff like that. And I just find it bewildering that so many people, in my opinion, were badly brought up.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not saying that my parents were perfect, but certainly my parents were among the kindest and most caring that I ever knew, and opened our house to so many people while we were children. There was somebody staying in the extra room, and while we were sleeping together on a bed, three of us or whoever, and it's because somebody else was there, because my parents felt it important. I always used to wonder about my parents sometimes, because my parents were always about, if we going somewhere, and if there were other children there, other cousins there, everybody has to get it. And furthermore, they get it before you, because you are home. You understand? Those are the kind of values that were instilled. My parents were the ones who would go in the middle of the night and I remember them getting a friend because she was being abused by her husband, and she was going to migrate to Canada the following day. And my mother and my father gone in the middle of the night to collect her before the husband come back home and bring her home by us with all the children, 3 children. That's who my parents were. And they instilled values of empathy and love for other human beings. And it had nothing about race or all of that stupidity that people bring up now. It had nothing about that. We celebrated everything. And that's why I say, why are there so many badly brought up people?
Yeah. I mean, my parents didn't spend long with us, but whatever values they instilled in us, I'm happy for that, which is why we are such a close-knit family today, that we every Friday is dedicated to family time, regardless. You know? So yeah, you're right. People are being, but the internet is, social media, Richard, is as I say, is a curse. It's becoming more of a curse now than a blessing, because people are going on there with some of the most cruel things that you could possibly think about someone else, and it's on all manner of things they are commenting. It's all manner of things they are commenting. Human beings, special, and we have a lot to pay for, as I said. Like that video we played the other day with the Israeli woman and the guy who's asking her about Palestinian people. Are they entitled to the same treatment? You know what I mean? And she couldn't give a straight answer.
But we're taking your calls, 281-1315, 281-1315.
Indeed, we do have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning again, Richard. Good morning again, Wendell. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, sir.
Richard, you just give away age there, right? Because all what you're saying, it sounds like my story. So anybody in the late 50s or on over, that would be their story and their upbringing.
So you know Richard is over 200 years by now? You know that?
Richard, he resonated with me in more than one way, because my interest, as I say, I have the same sentiment like you. I feel the era of the UNC and PNM is over. Right? That is my feeling. We could we'll be much better off without. I mean, in the current configuration, right? We have so much issues and things in this country by governance. I mean, we in the information age, we're more enlightened and everything. We can't have 41 people just deciding things that will impact our future and things and our children's future in a negative way without we having an input or a say or whatever. Right? But when I talk to most people, I mean, I'm in the same category like you in the 52%. Well, part of the 52%, the conscious 52% who want to participate, who want to make things different and not just stay away from the process and so on, right? But when I talk to the majority of people, I mean, the people whose voice has been heard is either some racial or some rowdy, some UNC, some PNM. I mean, we need to do away with that because the country is not going nowhere. And you know, every day if you go to talk, brother, the amount of issues that distract us every day, that we could jump from one thing to the other and not focus on our real issue that will carry the country forward. Right? Yeah. And that being said, what is a concern to me just now is that I just listened to the last part of the article on the news. I heard it the first time at 7. And I say, well, let me listen back at 8. Quite draw me back to a question when they was interviewing the Homeland Security Minister on the police post and stuff, right? And somebody asked him, they understand that the U.S. official, U.S. person, I think, will be held manning the police post. And he said, and his answer, he had no information about that. But if the U.S. is participating, they will be there for information gathering and intelligence. Right? And we hear before how the U.S. had people here helping training the police and training the army and so on, right? The last part of the news said because I know that is how things happen. I don't know if they figure that they cannot come out and be truthful and factual with us. If all their policy is we're trying to help crime, the U.S. is assisting us, and the police and they'll be assisting us in this way. They have personnel here who will be assisting us. Why they can't come out and fund and everything has to be undercover and secretive and then they drop it on me like that, right? The news there say that the U.S. now is trying to extend the crime fighting efforts against narcotics and so on from sea to land. And they already made thing with Colombia and Ecuador and so on, right? So, if they extend their operation to land, is it that they're going to be blowing up cars on the highway? If you suspect that they are drugs? Because remember, we done endorse that already, yeah? Mm-hmm. Right? And they're blowing up boats and stuff and things like that, right? And the next thing, because I'm watching the whole overall picture, because do you know that they opened a new US embassy? Are they aware of that?
Yeah, up Marval, yeah.
Yeah. Now they bought the country club to open a new US embassy. You know how big that place is?
Huge.
Like 12 acres. What are you doing with that embassy that's on 12 acres? What are you going to do? Set up a new military base or something? And we would just wake up and find that we are the next American colony. Right? Questions that we asked, and we had to demand truthfulness and things from the people who govern us. Right? And we had a say.
Yeah. Well, that clearly predated this government, though. That issue of them acquiring that property up there, that's happened a while now. And they started the construction long before governments changed. So whatever, and it's serious construction taking place there. Serious construction.
Yeah, I hear that in Wendell, but the government, the US government is not Trinidad and Tobago. You know? They don't just get more money and do things by VAPs, you know.
True.
Right? Right. They'll be planning things all along, and probably they wasn't getting the cooperation from the former government or so on, and they want a more friendlier government to institute the thing. But they don't just get up one morning and make them kind of plans, you know. Them things well thought out, you know, for much years and the direction they're going.
True.
Right? You're not vapsical and things like us. Right? So I'd love to listen and somebody else make a contribution.
All right. Yeah, thanks, caller. Ms. Henry, with due respect, you make comments sometimes that borders on, I don't know. That comment you made at 8:30, remove it now. Sir Charles not here to remove it. I can't remove it. Richard can't remove it. But please remove it, right? And avoid making comments like that on our chat. Please, we'll appreciate it. Disagree, don't like this one, critique this one, but don't make those kind of comments, please, on the chat, right? I don't know that you would like it if somebody else types that about you on the chat, because I will come to your defense also, all right? So please avoid it. Because if we remove one of your comments, we'll have to remove all. So you could remove that one, right? Yeah, thanks. We're taking calls.
Let's keep it respectful on the chat, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
And we do have a caller on the line already. Caller, good morning.
Gentlemen and gentle people, good morning. How are you guys going?
Morning, Captain Ron.
Yeah, listen, I'm listening there, right? And first of all, I saw the news last night with the minister and the woman leader of the PSA, I think it is. It's amazing how right now that's where the government has come, Trinidad and Tobago has come to, where you're throwing words for each other. And that lady there, she's like a puppet, and she can say whatever she wants because they got money from the present government. They took care of them. If you go back when they got into power, they took care of the PSA. So she would say anything to please satisfy these people. And to answer to the other caller, sir, let me tell you this. First of all, that spot what you all think that embassy is big, go to Addis Ababa, and it's a whole mile. About a whole square mile. So you've seen nothing yet. All right? But this is what happened when you become a puppet of the United States. And you're surely right. I am looking at Trinidad and Tobago as the 51st state of the United States. So be happy. You'll be getting U.S. passports. No longer visas is required. You know what I'm saying?
Don't make joke now, man.
You have American Airlines, United, Southwest, Delta, everybody will be down there. Alaska Airlines and all will be down there. Setting up base. I'm saying Airlines. All right, guys.
All right, Captain John.
I called another frequency yesterday in the afternoon, and I told them about the interview what you guys had with the acting commissioner.
Yeah.
They refused to believe what I was saying. The gentleman said they can believe it. Other people had to call in and said, who listened to this station, call in and also said, yeah, it is true. It is true. So, I realized from then to yesterday, you guys do things that other people don't even know about. Anyway, you guys have a good morning.
Yes. Thanks for that, Captain Ron. You still there?
No, he's gone.
No. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that endorsement again for our show. Yeah, we had an exclusive interview yesterday. Everybody else just get song bites. But we had Mr. Benjamin on our show. So they would have heard it firsthand. You know what I mean? And as I said, when we set up the interview, the issue of a missing commissioner of police wasn't on the cards. We were going to speak about things entirely different. And then, bam, the commissioner gone missing. And no acting commissioner appointed. How is that? I mean, well, we know now how it happened. All right, let's squeeze in a few more calls now, folks. It's not your day, but you're getting the call and talk about many different issues. All right? Many people commenting on the chat. Huh? Sorry, Peter, you ready?
No, just saying it is. We do have a bunch of time to take calls.
Yeah.
And we do actually have a caller on the line right now. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Mr. Charleston and Mr. Wendell and Mr.
Morning.
Morning. The matter about this courthouse thing, boy, in person going to court. When did I tell you when the court is?
Of course.
Boy, that's one of the worst thing you could do, you know. So then when you go to court and you end up staying whole in the court and the pay up till the next day.
I went to court once so much that when they called my name and I was a victim, and when they called my name in the hallway, I hear my name echoing because every police officer that's called it. They just come by the door and call Wendell Stephen, and the next one down the road is ball out Wendell Stephen, and then the next court is when I walk straight out the court.
If you don't want nobody know your business, boy, you don't go in the court, boy. Everybody gonna know your labels, they gonna know where you come from, everything. But what has happened to boys? Sometimes if you want to travel and you want to go through traffic jam and all kinds of reach your court for 8, you have to reach the court for 8 o'clock. But I find that going back too far back, boy, them going back to what kind of age, boy.
And then the magistrate just take the precious time and reach there. They don't ever be late online, you know. All matters that start on time online. But you see when it's in person, something always happening where a magistrate late.
But sometimes the magistrate don't come, boy. Sometimes the magistrate don't come and have to put all the case. Don't say nothing, boy. But you know, yesterday I was listening to Mr. Benjamin, right? And then I realized he's a Tobagonian.
Yes.
Right. Me and think they go put you as a commissioner to that.
But why he was acting commissioner one time, you know?
You hear the word acting commissioner?
But Stephen Williams acted for 6 years.
Yeah. He's a Tobagonian?
No.
Well, now I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? That?
I hear in about the Hilton guy wasn't he a Tobagonian and he was commissioner of police here?
Yeah, but in what era? That's what I'm saying?
Not really. What you're saying that people from Tobago can't be commissioner of police?
Hey, with Tobago, Trinidad issue going on with autonomy and all kind of bacchanal, and Tobago want their own police service. You know Tobago have their own police service that kind of way?
Yeah, but I don't understand your point because you're talking about even in the past. Two of our former prime ministers were from Tobago, and the president. So what's your point? What's your point? What is your point?
Who you talking to somebody? You get called martial law.
Okay, let me say that nicely then. What is your point, Mr. Patrick?
All right. The way the thing in Trinidad and Tobago going, right? The way the thing going where Tobago want their own business and their own this and their own that, right? Trinidad want their own police service from what I was listening to some time back, right? This man have qualification, he could do the job. Why they don't hire the man?
Because, you mean why they don't appoint him?
Why did they not appoint the man before they bring him to Guevara?
Because obviously, Mr. Guevara was the preferred candidate by somebody.
Yes, because when they set up the police man and make sure she up, the commissioner of police, what's his name?
Earl Christopher.
Hey, this man was right there. This man was right there all the time. They bypass here and they bring in Mr. Guevara.
Well, in between there, he was acting as commissioner, and then the Police Service Commission made a recommendation, and Guevara's name was put forward. That actually happened under before the change of government, eh? And when the government changed, this government went ahead with it.
Right. So that's why they bypass the man.
Well, we don't know, Mr. Patrick. You ask him question, we don't know.
I just watch that thing. I just watch thing that kind of way. I just watch thing because if the man qualified and the man was right there, and they bypass the man. But you see this a political appointment in even the police service or about the place is serious.
You better believe that.
It's a serious thing. People who qualify to do work because they're not affiliated or they're not from the country or I don't know. Anyhow, yeah. I see they're fixing the road again, boy. Right? They're fixing the road again. Nice. So, have a good day.
All right, take care. It's less than a year for local government elections now, The 3 years was up this month, someday this month, The 3 years for local government was up, So they just have a year again to go. Well, it will be less than a year. So trust me, the place is going to heat up politically just now. Watch and see.
I suppose the issue is whether you believe in meritocracy or whether you believe in political appointments. And obviously, as a society, post 1962, we have believed in political interference with a lot of agencies that are, and I put in independent in big, strong, bold, black inverted commas, because that's what it is. And even the judiciary is not untainted in terms of the political process.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though the framers of the Constitution had the intention that service commissions were supposed to be the bridge between governance and the other and independent boards and independent positions, it has gotten watered down and more interference has happened rather than less post 1962. And things have become more and more politically motivated, unfortunately. And because we don't have leadership that aspires to meritocracy and aspires to the devolving of power to the people. We don't have that. All the leaders that all they love in the past, none of them were in favor of devolving power. That's why we are where we are today.
Very correct. Very correct. And that's why sometimes I listen to former ministers. And not I listen, but they talk. And I don't want to hear them, Richard, because they had an opportunity to fix certain things. Don't come and criticize nothing now. I treated some UNC people who were in that People's Partnership government the same way during the PNM reign. I didn't want to hear them. I only want to hear new people now. People who know into the politics. That is the only one, or the decent ones, and there are very few of them. You understand? That is the only people I want to listen to now. Don't say nothing. At least say, but I'm not following you at all. I'm not repeating what you say. I'm not reporting on what you say. Because you had a chance and you made a mess of it. And it's going to get worse now, because this iteration of this government, this UNC now, I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know what they just want to make everybody like despise them. Why?
We may never know.
Boy, it's just a fight. You do this, I'm taking that back. You get this, I'm taking that back. I'm just after you because of or what I think you are or whatever. And as I'm telling you, the only people UNC left to fight with is themselves now. They fight with everybody already.
All right. Of course, we are still taking calls, and we do have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So earlier on, you all were discussing, and I'm glad Richard is still there, because I know you all were discussing in-person courts, right? They're bringing back in-person court and getting rid of virtual. So has anybody ever, Richard, I'm asking a question, but I want to say a few things before you answer me. Does this system cater for hybrid court? For example, the physical court itself, it provides, the presence, the transparency, formality, and so on. And of course, direct observation with respect to the person, the defendant, the person in question, the witnesses, and so on. Virtual court would provide reduce travel to somebody in a wheelchair and so on, the convenience of it, accessibility and so on. A hybrid court combines the two. For example, you use each method where it is most appropriate. So, for example, again, quickly, we have simple administrative matters. We could go virtual. We could case management virtual, serious criminal trials physical, right? Just a few, right? So you have an expert witness a week, right? Virtual, right? And really and truly, I am saying that for Trinidad and Tobago, this could be particularly useful because it could modernize the court system without completely removing the traditional courtroom environment and the principle of open justice. So for Richard, the question is again to you. Does our court system provide for hybrid courts?
Well, well, at this point, according to what the missive that Wendell would have read, it seems as if some things they said the masters courts will be having a kind of hybrid quality to them, and a lot of matters go to the masters courts now after the the updated legislation. So what that means, what hybrid means in terms of how you just explained it and how it will actually work, who knows? What you said is very reasonable and makes sense. And certainly in criminal matters, there is a strong case for criminal matters before the High Court for it to be in person. There's a strong case, especially when it's a jury and empaneling of a jury and stuff like that. But in terms of witnesses who may not be in the country because of whatever position, can they make way for it to be partly virtual? Makes sense. You understand? It makes sense, and it costs the state less than if you have to bring back in a witness. So I totally agree with you that is certainly a way forward. My grouse is magisterial matters. Magisterial matters, I find, should be completely virtual because it's matters of over a range of issues, and there is no need or necessity for dragging people across the country into the magisterial district where their matter is to be heard when they can comfortably do it virtually. So that part of it I find is retrograde. Some high court criminal matters could be virtual depending on what it is. So there is a case, as you just made it, for a hybrid system, even in the criminal court arena. And civil, they didn't mention civil, so I assume civil might remain virtual, which is also fine because a lot of civil is really filing of documents and stuff unless the matter has to go to trial. And a lot of the system is just trying to get people to settle, right? But that's how I see it. But certainly for the magisterial district, it makes no sense to me going back into a non-virtual environment. That is just penalizing citizens across the country and making them have the inconvenience of having to get to whatever court. And we know what it is to get to a court in Trinidad and Tobago. And none of these courts provide parking. None. Zero. Not even for lawyers. Not even for lawyers. Not even for lawyers. So it's silly. So as I said, I don't know what Kool-Aid the CJ drinking, but it's silly to reverse that decision.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I didn't even think about that car parking thing too, Richard. All of that is a problem. And that's why a lot of court matters when you go into court would often start late, Because you have to wait on all these personnel to reach there. Well, and of course the main person would be the magistrate to reach the court. Sometimes you're sitting on that court for hours because you have to go early if you want to get there early. You know what I mean? If you want to get there on time. So you're getting there by 8:30. Matters supposed to start 9 o'clock. The magistrate ain't coming till about 10. Some of them. Because they caught up in all manner of things because they have a life too. If they're home, they could just log on or from wherever they are.
It increases congestion around court systems.
Yeah.
Because look at where are the courts? The courts are smack in the middle of city centers. Smack in the middle. It just seems it is regressive. It makes no logical sense. And it has to be, I don't know what is it fueled by. It has to be fueled by hubris. In my opinion, I can do this, so I'm doing it.
I think it's fueled by, it was done by the last government, we're reversing it. It was done under, no, let me correct that. It was done under the last government, during that term, then it's going to be reversed. That's what I see happening in this place. Anything that was formed, and I warn people, I say, anybody who was employed in the last 9.5 years, watch out for your job, especially if your job was specially formed by within some unit, watch out for it. That's what I see happening.
But that hybrid system, as the lady just explained, is really how it should work in a modern society in 2026. And what can be virtual should be virtual. I tell you, a lot of the times leaders don't take into consideration the people for whom they are providing a service. They just don't consider it.
She almost sounded like a magistrate that appeared in front of her.
So I don't know.
Because she's a new voice to this radio station. I would recognize a new voice. She definitely a new voice, and she has that authoritative voice like a magistrate or somebody.
It doesn't matter who she was. It's matter what she said.
Of course,
no, because you like to go down. You like to go down. No, you like to go down rabbit holes.
I feel you know it is, you know.
No.
Okay. Because you know real judges and magistrates and things.
I know some of them.
Oh God.
Yeah. I know some of them mightn't be pleased with my frank opinion this morning, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, but you've always given a frank opinion, Richard.
About that's how I feel, especially because I have been into the system. And let me tell you, Wendell, how ridiculous it gets. And if you want to call it ridiculous, legal aid attorneys, and I'm talking about the institution itself, the attorneys who work there have had occasion to actually give money to clients so they can travel to get to court. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Because they can't get to court. They have no money to get to court. And we have to find some ways to get them to court. That's how ridiculous it is. And that's how much people are hurting in terms of financial strength across the country to even do something like that. And if it's a spurious charge or some spurious issue, some policeman charge you for obscene language or whatever, and you was in Siparia, but you live in Diego Martin, you ought to find the money to get on to Siparia. And the CJ is okay with that. Nobody was in the room that says, maybe I need to second think that for the citizens of the country. I don't know. No. I hear what is it? Diego Martin, whoever called it, and saying you can't leave Trinidad because Trinidad's so interesting. Sometimes you want boring,
Yeah.
I want to lie down on a tick coat in a field in Iceland and say yes. It's very boring and I am loving it.
I do that at home now.
Well, we said a mosquito buzzing wrong, yeah?
No, I don't know mosquito. Hey, as you talk about mosquito, I have two of them citronella plants I have to set. One for Harper and one for Amjad. I promised Amjad I planned so long now, and but I have to set them. I'll just pull them out and wrap them in some wet newspaper and bring them down the road tomorrow, please God. That's what I don't have mosquitoes by me again. Since I have that plan, I have had such a lessening of mosquitoes in the area. And of course, I have a fish pond and a turtle pond, but I have guppies in them that would eat the mosquito larvae. I don't have mosquitoes really.
You have a big field facing you, so not really mosquitoes are just drift across into your
Nah, I don't get again. Not coming in by. I mean, if I stay out in the night sometimes, probably yes. But I don't be outside so again, Richard. Well, I mean, in the evening time, when the mosquitoes will come. I don't be outside again, so you know what I mean? But yeah, I have a lot of open areas and they're not being well kept at all. They look awful. Everybody I don't know, Richard, people are getting tired, people are getting weary. I think we are being beaten into submission by everything that's happening. The news is changing every single day. I mean, we don't know where this country is going. We just don't know.
But it's not only the country, there's a lot of challenging news across the planet in this cycle that beats you psychologically, that affects you psychologically. You never think about the psychological effect that all of this has on you, but it does. What is happening in Trinidad and Tobago and whatever lens through which you see it affects you, and what is happening globally also affects you. And it beats against you, and it beats against you psychologically, and you don't know it. Even if you are a strong supporter of the UNC, you must know that there are people suffering across the country. You must know that when people lose their jobs, it affects. And the thousands of people who have lost their jobs since they came into power must affect. You must know that.
Yeah. Because a lot of them own businesses, Richard.
Yeah, so you must know that it's affecting people, and to me it's the cavalier attitude to it. I find amazing. You may have to. I am not saying that you may make a policy decision that okay, this doesn't make any financial sense because you now have the power to deal with it because you've been duly elected. But it's said with a sense of bravado and almost innate cruelty that I don't understand. Since when Trinidad and Tobago has become that? Because these are all Trinidadians and Tobagonians that are being affected. And since when did we become a society like that? I tell you, people better than me is going to study this period and write about it.
Yeah. Sad but true. Anyway, folks.
I just say writing. Let me plug. I'm started to write my I'm going to write the novel to America Dance. I've started actually. Yeah, a novel version of it. The novel to America Dance. America Dance is a play. So I'm actually going to write a novel. A novel gives you much more details of the characters and details of the lives of the characters than a play can. So I've started writing it. I know people have pestered me to do it before, so I've started writing it. I have so many things that I've written over the years, short stories and stuff like that, even children's stories, and I just never did anything with them. And of course, now that I have the time, and I've now started to progress in terms of getting those stories out there. So actually, I have a children's 5-book series that I recently published on Amazon called Sophia the Little Detective, which is stories I had for several years now, maybe about 4 or 5 years. So I just published it on Amazon, and now I'm going on to America Dance.
Okay,
but it's for like 6 to 9 year olds,
Well, America Dance will be an adult novel.
Yeah, no, that'll be adult. But the children's Sophia the Little Detective is for children between 6 and 9, a chapter book series. but it deals with things like, homelessness, mental issues. I try to incorporate those things, but through the lens of a 6-year-old, and how it looks, how they receive it, things like that.
All right.
What about making it a little bit of a more kinder world, I guess?
Yeah.
Kindness seems to be out the window, boy, in this era of humanity.
And you can add to that. Well, I mean, I use the words selfish and ungratefulness. Ungratefulness seems to be the order of the day now too. Ungrateful. And it goes hand in hand with kindness, because generally it affects people who are kind. You understand?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Lester Crockwell, I don't know if you saw the meme on Kim Jong-un, who said he has banned suicide in North Korea. And he said anybody who attempts suicide and fails will be executed. I don't know if you saw that. I found it funny. Anyway, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God. The weather is great as it is now. Hopefully it will remain that way, but just be mindful that it could change. All right? So if you're parking in low-lying areas with your cars, especially if you're parking on Sackville Street, go and move it now.
Move it while you can. Yeah. Of course, we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow will be midweek Wednesday. Of course, netradiott.com continues. So you can go to the web, netradiott.com, nettradiott.com, one word, and you can listen to the excellent programming. You can also go to your smart devices and say, play NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn. NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn, exactly as I said it, and you'll be good to go. Of course, we know you have a choice in what you watch and what you listen, and we're glad that you chose us. So have a fantastic day, people. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. You have been listening and watching
The Breakfast Show.
Get up, it's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here, we bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new